Okay, so let's enjoy Mr. Cuddy is Nutty by Dan Gutman. So, as you enjoy this reading, I want you to think about what we talked about with figurative language, similes, where we make a comparison using like or as, hyperbole. Dan Gutman likes hyperbole. Remember, that's the obvious exaggerations. Might have some idioms. All right, let's just have some fun and, think about the language. He's dedicated this one to Emma. I want you to just take a look at the table of contents. The table of contents, the titles, some of these titles are figurative language. How do you like them apples? Are they really talking about apples that you eat? Don't know. We'll find out. Worst day of my life. That's a little bit of hyperbole, maybe. Sniffing out stories. Do you actually sniff with your nose the stories? Okay, again, some figurative language. It's all around us. Now, if you're a Dan Gutman fan of these weird school day series, here are some of the characters that we hear all about: AJ, Andrea, Ryan. Chapter 1. How do you like them apples? My name is AJ, and I hate it when my school gets attacked by my monsters. I should explain. It all started the other day when our new teacher, Mr. Cooper, came flying into the room. And I do mean flying. See right there, flying into the room can just be a type of figurative language. But they're saying they actually literally mean flying. Mr. Cooper thinks he's a superhero, but he's not a very good one because he knocked over the garbage can and fell on the floor. Stuff spilled all over the place. We all ran over to help him up. Mr. Cooper had a black plastic bag in his hand and a letter A on his cape. It is I, he announced. Apple Man. Apple Man? Asked Ryan and Michael. Who ever heard of a superhero named Apple Man? Asked Alexia, who rides a skateboard all the time. Today we're going to learn about apples, said Mr. Cooper. Why? Asked Neil, who we call the new kid, even though he wears clothes. Because it's part of the Common Core, said Mr. Cooper. Get it? Nobody got it. I'll tell you, third graders, teachers will get it. Nobody got it, but Mr. Cooper didn't care. He took some apples out of the bag and passed them around. When I was a kid, we used to say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Mr. Cooper told us. You know, when we read, we make connections, and apple a day makes me connect to Armani and his little brother. Every day, they'd come in if they could and bring me an apple each. I miss my apples and you boys. You threw apples at doctors, I asked. Then everybody laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Did you know there are 7,000 kinds of apples grown all over the world? Mr. Cooper asked us, but only one is native to North America, the crab apple. See, there's a little star there. That means there must be a footnote at the bottom, but we didn't get there yet. I know something about apples, said Andrea Young, this annoying girl with curly brown hair. If you put an apple in water, it won't sink. Apples have a lot of air in them. Well, maybe the scientist in you right now, boys and girls, wants to think, well, maybe you should test her out later. See if you can do that later at home. Very good, Andrea, said Mr. Cooper. Andrea fist pumped her friend Emily, the big crybaby. Then she smiled the smile that she smiles to let everybody know that she knows something nobody else knows. She thinks she is so smart. Why can't a truck full of apples fall on her head? Mr. Cooper told us it was time for math. If there are 6 apples on a table and you take away 4 of them, how many do you have? Mr. Cooper asked. Andrea was waving her hand in the air like she needed to be rescued from a desert island. So right there, is that a little hyperbole? Perhaps. 2 apples, she said, because 6 minus 4 is 2. Then she made her smiley smile again. No, said Mr. Cooper. If there are 6 apples on a table and you take away 4 of them, you have 4 of them. Of course. You just took 4 of them away. But, we all laughed because Andrea said but, which sounds like but even though it only has one T. Nah, nah, nah. Boo boo on Andrea. Mr. Cooper taught us lots of interesting stuff about apples. Did you know that gravity was discovered when an apple fell on some guy's head? Me neither. That's when the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. Again, a little hyperbole, perhaps. The morning announcements came over the loudspeaker. Well, that's not the amazing part, because the morning announcements come over the loudspeaker every morning. The amazing part was what happened after that. I gotta tell you what it was. Okay, I'll tell you. But you have to read the next chapter. So now that poo poo on you. That's a typical Dan Gutman ending to a chapter, wouldn't you say, fans?